Selassie. Finley Payne had a great day yesterday. 3 hits in the 2 games. She's number 2 in the lineup with Sophie Sun, the standout hitter, 3rd. And then the bottom 6, they've had some studs there. Priyanka Call. Well, she's from neighboring Plainsboro. She'll be 5th in the lineup. And then Savannah Fitzpatrick will be batting 9th, but 8 doubles on the season. Going up against a Princeton defense that did not have an error in either game yesterday, fielding 9 at 53 on the season, and they're very similar to what they did yesterday. Julia DeMay continues to play at shortstop and Sonia Jong at 3rd. The outfield solid as well, with Sabloni leading the way in the middle at center field. And in the circle for the Tigers, it'll be Brielle Wright, who had the Game 1 shutout in 6 innings, the save in last year's Ivy League championship. In fact, last year had a league record 10 saves, and now she's a starter and looking to get the job done again here today.
It's a great day for softball. It's a beautiful sunny day, and it's a clean slate for both clubs. You know, the goal for Princeton, obviously, they'd love to sweep it. And Harvard's coming in as if, everything went Princeton's way yesterday. Here we are. Bring it on.
And you see, right, the strikeout to walk ratio close to 2-1. That's been a struggle on the other side for Harvard. Princeton did a great job yesterday in terms of drawing walks, but both starters, Wright and Shaw yesterday, 2 walks apiece, 3 strikeouts apiece over 13 innings. They did a good job to limit the runners on bases for Harvard.
And played good defense behind both throwers.
And it happened in both leadoff pitches against Audrey Selassie yesterday, but a taken strike at 12:35. Game 1 started yesterday, a ground out to 3rd on the first pitch. Same for Game 2, so Selassie for the first time leads off with a second pitch.
You have to watch Selassie's hands. She put a little one down yesterday. Wouldn't be surprised if she tried to get something going that way.
And right on cue, Coach, the lefty will have to try to make a throw, but doesn't have the time to do so. A leadoff bunt, and there you see Selassie feeding the energy into the Harvard side.
She put that bunt down just exactly where you want. Nice soft hands right in that little triangle. First base, the way that Princeton plays it, clearly the pitcher or catcher has to field that ball. Great bunt.
And it takes an extra split second for the lefty to have to try and turn and field versus a righty. So great job by Selassie to capitalize. Has another lefty batter up, and Finley Payne, a multi-hit Game 1 and then added a third yesterday, puts down a bunt. That was nearly caught by Pappert on the dot.
And Selassie was going on the pitch, and it was funny. I was going to say, I wonder if Harvard's going to come out and try to put some more pressure on and try to advance that way, and she was going on that pitch. Could have been a bunt and run or a run and bunt.
Again, this Harvard team just trying to get that first run of the weekend. Any way they can do it, they will certainly take it, as now the count 0-1 to Payne. Just off the mark there.
Listen, they've already started out. Both games yesterday, they went 1-2-3 to start. Now they have a runner on base. It's a good way to gain some confidence early.
Payne's hot hitting as of late, now to 350 on the season. Payne will take one high, now ahead in the count 2-1. Has at least a hit in 9 of her last 10 games, including 3 multi-hit efforts. And in that span, 12 of 28 at the plate, 1 home run, 4 RBIs.
And had a deep ball to center yesterday, a double. So, she's a threat every time she's up to bat.
Yeah. Rip and miss on the 2-1 offering. It's a nice battle back by Brielle Wright to make the count even.
Great pitch, down, little off speed. She's going to try to mix it up. She brings it hard, and she can move it around.
2-2 the count. Line and delivery gets inside and hits on the elbow. Finley Payne, that makes it 2 on, nobody out.
So Harvard is starting exactly the way they want. They put some pressure on. They have their top of the order up with Sophie Sun coming up, who is one of the most dangerous hitters in the conference.
Similar to how Princeton started off in the bottom of the first in both games yesterday, and Sun will try to play the role of Carice Ford, and, well, how fitting. Ford wears 18 for the Tigers. Sun wears 18 for the Crimson, who will have a pinch runner at first. Try to get some extra speed on the base paths as Julia Mizo, the freshman from Honolulu, will head to first base.
Julia Mizo.
Well, you can tell right now the aggressiveness for the Crimson. They're motivated after being swept yesterday to try to grab at least one in this series. And they have a great opportunity to start off on the right foot. Sun did not have a hit in either game yesterday. Now hitless in her last 3 after over the first 14 games had a batting average of .521. So that average now dipping to .439, but an excellent hitter, the first ever Ivy League softball player to be named Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year in the same year. Did so last year. And now Sophie Sun ahead in the count, 2-0.
And so Sun is exactly where she wants to be. It's a hitter's pitch. There's a lot of speed on base right now. Miso's has stolen a couple bases. Obviously, she has a runner ahead of her, but there's a lot of speed. And Sun's going to look to put the ball in play.
Sends a 2-0 pitch foul.
Sun's got great bat speed, really good hands. The fact that she was held off base in 2 games in a row yesterday. Great job by Princeton. You know that she's going to be hungrier than usual.
Yeah, do not be fooled by Harvard being shut out thrice in a row by Princeton, including last year, but both yesterday, hitting .289 as a team. And Sun now ahead in the count, 3-1.
And Wright's just a little bit up. Didn't walk anybody yesterday, and she wants to be. It's a balancing act again. She's got a great hitter here. It's a hitter's count. She doesn't want to groove it in there, but she wants to come back and battle, try to get a ground ball out.
Huge pitch coming up, the 3-1 to Sun. She rips this, but it'll curl foul down the left field line. That was the right type of strength behind the swing, but just a tad bit early.
Yeah, that ball's up a little bit. If you give that ball to Sophie Sun, she's going to get a hit 9 times out of 10. I can assure you Wright's going to try to make an adjustment on that. But you got a strike nonetheless. Just a long strike right now.
Maybe a little bit of a reprieve, but a payoff pitch to come. 2 on, nobody out. Wright, the lefty, with the wind and delivery, and it misses high. The bases are chock full of them, with a freshman catcher coming up in Quinn Salazar-Stewart, who is still, albeit a freshman, hitting very well, very consistently this season.
I was very impressed with her yesterday. Just the way she carried herself. You can tell she's got those quick hands, quick bat. Did a really good job. And the fact that Coach Ron has her hitting in the 4th position tells you about the confidence she has in her.
While Princeton has an infield meeting, Lisa Van Akron will try to get a little bit of guidance to Brielle Wright. Quinn Salazar-Stewart hitting .273 this season, but what's most impressive, Coach, you look at the game-to-game production. So far in 17 games, she's started in every game for Harvard. She has at least a hit in 14 of those 17 games.
And so had 2 hits yesterday, too. Absolutely.
Steady presence, 1 hit in each game yesterday.
Yep, absolutely. And plays, to me, the second most important position on the field. A catcher really sees everybody, needs to be the boss, and handle the pitchers.
Second on the team with 10 RBIs this season. Here comes the first pitch, and Salazar-Stewart gets a bit underneath it, but fouls it back out of play.
So here we are. It's a really important part of the game, as silly as that may sound, in the first inning. Harvard hasn't scored yet. They've got the bases loaded, no outs. They're looking for a big inning, but right now they want to get that first one.
Princeton's infield is inside of the bags. They'll look for a play to the plate if it's in play in the infield. Yep. As the 0-1 is taken for a ball. That was awfully close.
I'm not sure exactly where that missed, but it missed somewhere that it is a ball.
Balls and strikes today being determined by Bruce Kilmoyer at home plate. Michael Binder's the first base umpire, and Brandon Hibbler is at third base. As the 1-1 is swung on and driven in the hole, third base side for a base hit. Station to station for the Crimson. Selassie scores as Quinn Salazar-Stewart provides the first Crimson run of the weekend. It's 1-0.
The ball is up a little bit in the zone. You'll see that, and she just hammers it down. The infield is in. It goes right through. Quinn Salazar has done her job, Salazar-Stewart.
It's almost as if Harvard had a game plan, which you can't really have a game plan in this sport because you go batter to batter. But bunt single, hit by pitch walk, RBI single, and the energy feeding from one batter to the next as Priyanka Kaul takes ball one.
And everybody's going to feel out the strike zone right now. If you're Harvard, you want to be selective. The bases are loaded. You are looking for your pitch in your part of the zone. Brielle Wright needs to keep the ball down, give her infield or her defense a chance to help her out.
From 3 miles down the road, Kaul awaits the 1-0 offering and will take a strike. But an excellent year last year as a junior. Kaul was all Northeast Region third team and Ivy League second team. Had a really hot clip pretty much up until the second game yesterday with an 11 of 22 span before going 0 of 3 in game 2 yesterday. Fouls this one back, and it's a big 1-2 count coming up for Brielle Wright.
So the infield remains in, which you're trying to cut the run off at home, but as you saw the last time, when that happens, the middle infielders don't have as much space to knock something down. It's a battle of will right now.
Julia Mizo's at third, Sophie Sun at second, Quinn Salazar-Stewart at first, as Priyanka Kaul fouls back the 1-2 pitch.
And she's going to battle in there. That's what an experienced hitter does, try to waste something till she gets what she wants.
Princeton in those opening innings at the plate yesterday battled tough on 2 strike counts, fouling away some pitches until they can reach and provide the home runs for Carice Ford. As the 1-2, Kaul sends this to shallow right. This should fall in for at least a base hit. A little bit of trouble in the field by Hornberger, so all hands are safe. As Priyanka Kaul will have an RBI single to score. Julia Mizo and the Crimson have a crooked number on the board in the top of the first.
And you'll see the infield's in, so it's a tough play. The truth of the matter is if Hornberger can field that ball cleanly, she has a chance for the runner at second. Everybody had to wait to see if somebody was going to catch it. And because she bobbled the ball, the runner was able to advance to second.
Again, this is the first weekend of competition here at Cynthia Paul Field, so some of the nuances are still in play, as this should be an easy throw for home. And who's going to first? Nobody. That should be a double play. I'm not sure what happened. Harvard is saying that was a foul ball, that it hit the foot of Alexa Muller, who is talking to the umpires saying it should be a dead ball. It hit my foot. And now the umpires will talk things over. If not, it will stand as a 3-2, I believe, 4 double play.
But what Coach Roan is saying to her hitter right now, you need to run that ball out. She just had a little conversation. Could we see that again?
Yeah, I tough to tell there immediately.
So the umpires are calling on it. And, we're going to take another look at it.
See right here. Hard to say on that. It didn't look like it entirely obvious, but I don't think the umpires can really do anything about that. So it will be a double play. Princeton had a double play in each game yesterday, and that canceled out Harvard runs, or rallies, I should say. They already have a rally here, but big difference, obviously. Bases loaded, 1 out instead of 2 outs here with Lael Ayala due up.
Still have Harvard has an opportunity now. 2 runners in scoring position. This is a really big play of the game here. Princeton wants to stop the damage that's been done. 3 hits, a couple runners scored. Harvard is looking to load on and put the pressure on the Tigers.
Still multiple runners in scoring position for Ayala, who's batting 6 of 28 at the plate with 3 RBIs. 1-0 is fouled back.
And now your middle infielders can be deep, so they have more range and the ability to knock it down and get an out.
Ayala in right today, the junior from Atlanta. Had a breakout sophomore campaign last year. On hit 345. Has cooled down to start this year, but trying to hit her stride in Ivy League play. And will face a 2-1 count after that pitch misses.
Harvard has a talented lineup. It's early in the season. You've traveled a lot when you're from this region. You're coming back to the Northeast. It's still chilly, but you get to play at home and teams you're familiar with, so averages don't matter as much at this point.
It'll all matter when you get into April, but a swing and miss means Brielle Wright has 2 strikes with 2 outs here on the top of the first.
It's a really good pitch. It's down. She's going to try to do the same thing right here. Try to limit the damage.
Right. Trying to get the last strike in the top of the first. Winds and delivers a pitch that misses low.
So here we are with a full count and 2 outs. Harvard.
Bag is open at first there, so they're not going to go.
Absolutely. Wright wants to make sure she's throwing her pitch, doesn't want to get anything up in the zone.
Here will come the payoff pitch. It's a swing and miss. And Brielle Wright will get pumped up, but Princeton, they're not going to have a 4th consecutive shutout against Harvard. The Crimson plate 2 and will grab the lead with the Tigers coming up to bat. The extra base hit threat and Lauren Pappert has this Harvard defense this season. .955 fielding percentage. They were good for 12 of the 13 innings fielding, ran into a multi-error inning in the 13th of those 13, but a capable infield with Sun at short and Call at third. The outfield, led by Selassie in left, made some big plays and really has a rifle of an arm. And then with Quinn Salazar Stewart at catcher, the pitcher will be someone who really had a good day yesterday in Ryan Grace, but both of those efforts in relief, she now gets the start.
And came in both games and did her job. Stopped a rally in the first game where she had a strikeout, and then entered the second game and would have been more successful had she, but there was a defensive lapses behind her as she starts with the first strike of the game.
You got to like the record at 3-1, the ERA at a flat 3, and the batting average allowed at 178. The one bugaboo, 19 walks compared to 20 strikeouts. Not the ratio she would like moving forward, but ahead in the count against Sonia Zhang, 0-2.
Throws a beautiful change down in the count, and Zhang, who drew so many pitches yesterday with the walk, is behind 0-2, as you said.
That time into the turf. Sonia Zhang, the sophomore from Houston, last year all Ivy first team, all Mid-Atlantic region third team, has picked up where she left off with a hit plus in 14 of 19 games so far. 1-2 count. Takes the pitch, I believe, low.
And one of the things she does so well is she has a great eye, so she takes a lot of pitches. Starting out 0-2 is a little bit tough, but now the count's even. She's where she wants to be.
2-2. And that drops in beautifully for a called strike 3. Changes speed, fooled Sonia Zhang, and there's one away.
So the first at-bat, first hitter sees 2 off-speed pitches right away. I think we're going to see Grace rely on that. Little bit of off-speed pitch, great frame, and she gets the call.
Not only off-speed, but indeed on the outside corner to get the first Princeton out, and that is already different from how the 2 games were yesterday, because in Game 1, Zhang and Dumais walked. In Game 2, Zhang and Dumais singled, both setting up 3-run homers for Carice Ford. So already Sunday different than Saturday. Dumais will take strike 1 after a ball, and so the count is even.
And it's clear that one of the things that Harvard is going to try to do today, and Ryan Grace, is throw some off-speed pitches, mix it up, and try to keep the Tigers off balance.
1-1 misses outside. So we open things up what the theme is coming into today. And it's always when you have the really good teams, a reply that quickly goes the other way. They know how to find that quick flip of the switch. That's the case for Harvard. Dumais, though, trying to get on base and put the pressure on this Harvard pitching and defense.
Absolutely. That's what really good teams do. It's not, everybody's going to make mistakes. It's a game of failure. It's how you respond to those mistakes. And Harvard is not surprising to me at all that they came out and put the little bunt down to get them started, and here we are.
And collectively as a team, Princeton's been excellent, hitting .306 and OPS of .880. And they can get it done in so many ways.
And Dumais had a great day yesterday, 2 triples. Not an easy thing to do, leg out a triple, and she did it twice yesterday.
1 in each game. Sends this one to center. Tracking back is Fitzpatrick at the wall. She runs out of room. Goodbye softball as Julia DeMay is on the board with her 4th home run of the season, a round tripper for 1 to cut the deficit in half.
And that is exactly what Princeton is looking to do. You've given up some runs, however it happens, and now to come back, she gets a pitch a little up in the zone, and she gets all of it to the deepest part of the field. And Fitzpatrick thinks she has a chance at it, but she really doesn't.
It's DeMay's first home run since a shot at Missouri a few weeks ago, and was to the same part of the field. In fact, Princeton had a 4-2 lead against a Tigers team that made the Super Regionals last year, but Missouri came back to win that game. Princeton, their record at 7-12, but their run differential only -3. They've faced many power conference teams with at least 20 wins already, and the way they played yesterday has, I think, opened up eyes for the rest of the Ivy League, realizing this Princeton team that won an NCAA tournament game last year against Ole Miss, brought Louisiana to extra innings in that 3rd game of the regional. They're as good, if not better, this year, and they're right back in it with Carice Ford facing a 2-1 count. Her OPS on the season, Carice Ford, is now to 1392.
Coach Van Akron set up a schedule as difficult as she did going into another off-speed pitch. They're going to be really careful to Ford having 2 big dingers yesterday. But she set up a schedule that she knew would challenge them go into the year. There were some top 20 teams preseason to set them up to come home and play league play and be ready for it.
The count is full to Carice Ford. The 458 hitting now leads the Ivy League, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, and she will draw a walk.
And that is a good at-bat by Carice Ford. You know, you're coming on, just hit a home run, and you just want to stay within yourself.
We have seen this before this weekend. Carice Ford will give way to a pinch runner. A little different, though, in terms of the order. Courtney Harrison was the 2nd pinch runner in both games yesterday, and then an outfield replacement in Game 2 when Julietta Roa was the 1st pinch runner, but this time it'll be Harrison first, and somebody who can get the job done on the base pads in the field. She made a big catch in left at the warning track yesterday, and she'll try to provide something on the base paths for Allison Ha, who had 6 RBIs in the 2 games yesterday, now up to 13 on the season.
And Allie Ha has a great eye in there. She's going to look for her pitch to hit right now.
Had an RBI double with Roa at first in Game 1, and that was her 34th career double, which is now tied for 10th in program history, behind an account now 0-1 to Ryan Grace.
Ryan Grace starts out strongly, gets the first strikeout.
This is into the turf, though. A late start by Harrison. The throw will be off the mark, though.
And I'll tell you what, a little bit of a, yes, the runner does get to advance, but you get to see Quinn Salazar-Stewart's arm on that, and that was a close play. She did a great job hopping up on the wild pitch.
It was officially scored, as you mentioned, Coach, a wild pitch. First of this weekend by either side.
Which tells you about the control that these staffs have. Even if they're not quite locating the way they want, they've been able to keep it around the zone.
Yeah, Harvard, we saw yesterday, and pretty much as was happened most of the year, a lot of their pitchers will change locations, change pitches, and sometimes you're just a bit off here or there, and that's why you have a higher ball rate than you'd like. But here's Allison Ha with an RBI opportunity, sends it to left. Harrison will come in to score. Ha advances to 2nd on the throw. Now we'll try for 3rd as it gets away. The throw by Salazar-Stewart, not in time. Well, it was in time, but Ha gets around the slide as we're tied at 2.
A lot happened on that.
You ain't kidding.
So first of all, you see that Allie Ha puts the ball into left field. Audrey Salazzi is really deep. They don't cut the throw coming home. I'm not sure that they really had a chance at her. And then the ball gets past Quinn Salazar-Stewart. Very close at home, but she does slide in there safely.
And you're right, because I think the cutoff, you want to prevent that runner going from 1st to 2nd on the throw and putting another runner in scoring position. But then to boot, took a bit of a tough hop for Salazar-Stewart to get. And all of a sudden now Ha's at 3rd. A whole lot going on there. What we do know is it is an RBI single for Allison Ha. It's her 7th RBI of the weekend, 14th of the season. And the production again from the top 4 in the lineup getting the job done here.
So Harvard jumps out on top, puts some offense on there, and then Princeton responds right away and gets 2 runs back with a runner in scoring position with 1 out, and the very dangerous Lauren Sabloni up to bat.
And already we've seen both coaches go with a pinch runner now. Top of the first, it was a run scored by Julia Mizo for Finley Payne, who's back on at second. Sabloni goes for the bunt. The tag will be applied, but that'll score a run.
And that's a squeeze bunt that is executed to perfection. She puts the ball down the first base side, as you're going to see. And is going on the pitch. You'll see right here, she is going right away. She is trusting that Sabloni is going to put the ball in play, and they have nothing at home. They get the out at first, but Princeton has navigated that perfectly.
So it's an S3 in your scorecard for the sacrifice hit and an RBI for Lauren Sabloni, her 11th of the season. And for 3 times in as many games, Princeton has 3 on the board in the bottom of the first, with Graciela Dominguez due up.
And I believe when Ryan Grace entered the game yesterday, she might have struck out Dominguez. I think she did face her yesterday.
I believe you are correct. That would be in game 1.
Correct.
Dominguez on the check swing, appeal to third, is confirmed as a strike. Dominguez has cooled off a bit after a really torrid stretch in which she had 11 of 16 over a 4-game span. Swings and misses here as Ryan Grace will get the strikeout, but Princeton has grabbed the lead. Julia DeMay got the rally started with the solo shot. 3 runs on the board for the Tigers. They're ahead 3-2 through 1 inning. Princeton winning the last 3 Ivy League regular season championships, 2 tournament championships in that span. As you look at the Ivy League standings presented by RWJ Barnabas Health, the official healthcare system of Princeton Athletics. Cornell and Yale split yesterday, and then Columbia, Dartmouth, and Princeton earning respective sweeps as their series continue today. But you see, Coach, Princeton and Yale next weekend. That's starting to look really tantalizing. The Bulldogs off to a torrid start, especially with their lineup.
Their offensive statistics, I was looking this morning, so many of them are in the top 5 or 10 in the league. It'll be a great series. This is a big one right here, right now.
Yes, Maya Douglas leads off the Charlotte product, who last year really enjoyed a breakout junior campaign, all Ivy League second team. Still doing strong as a senior. Really started off the year strong. 2 multi-hit games, 2 multi-RBI games over her first 4. And you have Douglas Fitzpatrick Selassie, 891. But that is as good as if you're going, say, for example, 3-4-5.
Yeah, their lineup is very deep, and we know both coaches, but especially Coach Roan, isn't afraid to move people around in the batting order. What's interesting to see right now, we get a big strike there from Wright. She moves ahead in the count 1-2. What happens this inning, both sides on defense? Lots of offense on both sides of the ball, both teams. What happens now?
Speaking of defense, Courtney Harrison remains in the game. She's in left. Allison Ha, for the time being, will move to the designated player role as the 1-2 is swung on, sent deep in the hole at short. Backhand attempt by Dumais. Bounced off the glove. The throw won't be in time. It's an infield single to start things off in the second for Maya Douglas, the first baseman.
And it's deep in the hole. Um, if Dumais could field it cleanly, there's a chance she gets it, but that is a ball deep in the hole and just a good shortstop. That's the reason she even got to it. So here we are. Harvard starts out, gets some pressure on right away again. That's exactly what they want to do.
And they'll go once again with a pinch runner as Megan Davies, the sophomore, will be at first. Davies, like Mizo, has spent much of their respective careers in terms of substitution roles, pinch hitting, pinch running. Last start for Davies was at North Carolina on March 1st. But on the base paths here with Savannah Fitzpatrick having a team high 8 doubles.
And an experienced, senior. She's been here, been through this rivalry, this Princeton-Harvard rivalry. She's hitting all kinds of places in the order. She's not your typical 9-hitter.
Yeah, somebody who really had a torrid non-league stretch. 3 multi-double games this season. Not too often you hear that. As that gets away from Papper, looked like it was going to be a bunt situation. Pitch was high, scored it off the glove, and that gets the job every bit as well as a bunt.
Better, because, sometimes on a bunt you get the out, the batter does their job. Papper needs to catch that ball. I mean, it's off her glove. Yes, it's a high pitch, but she just took her eye off it, I believe.
And so now an RBI opportunity for Fitzpatrick. 2 games split over separate days against Kent State earlier this year, but a combined 5 doubles in those 2 days out of the 8 total this season. Big rip and miss. So when she gets cooking, she is someone that can just break a game wide open.
And now the interesting thing is, yes, there's 2 strikes, but might Coach Roan give her a bunt? The corners are both deep. Advance the runner. Maybe she's also safe. She's got some wheels. We're just going to let her hit away. And that's what it looks like.
2-2 will be the count, of course, as a lefty. You have a little bit of a shorter distance to get to first as well.
And you have a lot of room. The truth of the matter is you put a ball in the outfield and you're going to knock in another run. Left side, you can advance the runner, so it's to the offense's advantage.
2-2, sent over towards first base, but wide of the bag.
Yep. And the runner's going on that. Anything on the right side, she's going to go as soon as she sees the ball down on the ground and advance again, just as if it was a sacrifice bunt.
2-2 pitch coming up once again in the lefty versus lefty matchup. Misses high, and now the count will be full.
And again, it's early in the game, but the top of the order is coming up. Harvard wants to do everything they can to advance, make it easier to score. Princeton wants to get an out here.
And you could have multiple runners on, nobody out, after Harvard had his first 5 reach safely in the first. 3-2 misses outside, and that is a walk, the second administered by Brielle Wright.
So Harvard, again, they are exactly where they want to be. Got some 2 runners in scoring position, top of the order for the very dangerous Salazi, who's got the great speed, put the bunt down last time. Harvard has all kinds of options offensively right now.
Corners are in this time. And Salazi even has the speed to leg it out, even if she's trying to sacrifice. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it away.
And what's interesting, if she does decide to bunt, you put that ball down the third base side. Now it's a foot race between Dumais and the runner at second. So there's all kinds of options. Just because she swung on the first time doesn't mean she doesn't put a little one down this time.
Audrey Selassie, the sophomore from Upper Arlington, Ohio, looking for her 6th multi-hit game of the season, pulls back on the bunt attempt. And the pitch didn't miss by much, but it is a 1-1 count.
Yep, you could see Pappert asking where it was. Princeton thought it was a strike. It only matters what the man in blue says.
So now with the count even, it opens up a few more opportunities for the batter. Selassie puts down a bunt right up the middle.
Same.
Throw to first, won't be in time. And back-to-back hits in the infield for Audrey Selassie. The base is chock full of them for Finley Payne.
And if I'm Coach Roan, I'm going to keep doing that until they proves that they can defend that. She's got all the speed. It's a slow ball. Lefty pitcher has to turn around. It's a great bunt. Selassie has done her job twice in a row, and here we are with Finley Payne, the very dangerous two-hitter.
And knew where to place it with the corners crashing in. So Payne, who's had an excellent weekend, can get the lead right back to Harvard. Fouls away the first pitch.
Infield's in, a lot of room to, create a scoring opportunity for Harvard. Wright wants to try to keep the ball down, although that's not her, her normal MO, to give her defense a chance to get an out.
Megan Davies is at third. And she should come in to score. Here's this rip to right. The throw will go home to make sure nobody else advances. And an RBI single by Finley Payne as her great weekend continues. We're now tied at 3.
And again, the ball is up in the zone, and it just looks so big when it's up that way. That ball is up. She's looking for it. The infield's in. They just don't have a chance. Great throw home to stop the advance. But Finley Payne does her job.
The Tigers not having the same success from their starting pitchers as they did yesterday, so Brielle Wright heads out. And we will talk about the new pitcher in the circle when we come back. Let's go to the sophomore Cassidy Shaw in her last 2 appearances against Harvard. 13 shutout innings, 6 hits allowed, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. These are the season numbers for 2025. Batting average allowed now under 300, but bases loaded, nobody out for Sophie Sun. It is as tough of a position as you can be in if you're Cassidy Shaw.
Sophie Sun is one of the best hitters, if not in this league. Comes in, goes 0 for 3 yesterday, but lined a ball deep to left field off of Shaw in the second game yesterday. So this is a big at-bat in this point in the game.
Tries to put down a bunt. It's picked up. The scoop is in time at home. Great work by Allie Goodwin on the 3-2 fielder's choice, and to get the force runner out at home.
And let me say, that is a great play. She just knows she has no time, just flips it right out of her glove. Otherwise, she is not going to make that out. If I'm Princeton, I'm not sorry to see Sophie Sun put a bunt down because she has so much power. But it's a game of inches, and you're trying to put the pressure on.
Yeah, very interesting indeed when you have the ability of Sun to try to put down the bunt, but she still placed it all said very well as Quinn Salazar-Stewart takes strike 1.
And it was a close play. Quinn Salazar had that line drive to left last time in this exact same situation. This is a freshman who doesn't hit like a freshman.
Had the RBI single back in the first, trying to make it a multi-hit game. Corners are in, and Salazar-Stewart fouls it away. This after Harvard gets 6 hits in 1+ inning against Brielle Wright. That was as many hits as they had in 6 shutout innings yesterday against the lefty Wright.
In the middle of the order, she comes in a tough spot, Shaw does. The bases loaded and none out.
Has the 0-2. Doesn't get the called strike 3. And so far, the strike zone has been more on the tight side by Bruce Kilmoyer.
Yeah, it does look tight. It looks tight both ways. You'd like to see him just be consistent, although any part of the ball over any part of the plate does count.
1-2. And again, didn't miss by much.
That I think that was clearly outside. So here we are, 2-2. The pressure builds with each pitch.
And those are ones maybe you're trying to paint the edge. If you're Shaw now, you really don't have many pitches to give here. As the count is even to Salazar Stewart, who sends this one into the gap up the middle. One run will come in to score. So will a second as Quinn Salazar Stewart, 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and Harvard has the lead back. It's 5-3.
Does a great job waiting back on that pitch. It's a little up in the zone, off-speed pitch, and you'll see that she just goes with it, does a great job. Princeton does a good job here, though. It's not the best throw, but they cut it off so to stop the advancement from third. So now there's runners on first and second as opposed to a runner on third.
Selassie and Payne scoring. And how about the plate discipline on 2 strikes by a freshman to then see the ball on the 2-2 count and find the opening as Priyanka Kaul goes behind the count 0-1.
Yep, and as a catcher, I think you think about it probably a little bit differently too. But obviously, both teams have made some adjustments today as the offense has just been blistering.
0-1, and that again, we said at the top, it's about 15 degrees cooler today compared to yesterday, but kind of just got the sense entering the complex here today that there's going to be a reply by Harvard after the way yesterday did not go their way.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that they've come out. They've been on fire. They are running, putting down the bunt, trying to put all the pressure on the Princeton defense and been very successful so far.
And the offense has been infectious for this Crimson team. Still just 1 out, 2 on. Kaul had an RBI double, or RBI single, I should say, her first time up.
Yep, the infield was in, so it would be a traditional ball to the second baseman. The infield was in because the runner's in scoring position. The ball was short to Hornberger and didn't field it quite cleanly, which allowed the runner to be able to advance to second.
The book for now is closed on Brielle Wright. All 5 runs scored so far charged to her ledger. As Kaul flares this to second, Graciela Dominguez will make the grab, and now there's 2 away.
You know, at this point, Princeton wants to stop the bleeding. They've given up 3 runs after coming back and taking the lead. It's going to be one of those seesaw games, you just get the feeling here. Harvard wants to add. You know, they still have a runner in scoring position. Alexa Muller is looking to put the ball in play in the outfield and knock in another run.
Swings, and the first pitch is fouled opposite field. It is the 6th consecutive start for Muller, who did have a freshman mistake, to be honest, her first time up. She thought the ball was fouled off her foot. The umpires did not see it that way, and she didn't run out a play that ended up being a 3-2-4 double play that pretty much ended the rally for Harvard at 2 runs back in that first. She can atone for that mistake here. The 0-1 pitch is taken low.
Good plate discipline. You know, sometimes on those slower pitches, it's hard to hold back. She does a good job. 2 outs. Scoring opportunity here.
1-1 now misses high. And so the count 2-1 to Muller, the first-year player from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
You could tell Harvard is feeling it. They are singing and dancing in their dugout.
2-1, that time a bit, I believe, outside. Again, the location's not off by much, but you do have to get them over the plate.
And you could tell Shaw thought she caught enough of it, just the way she looked at the catcher waiting, sort of sending a little message. You don't want to send too much of a message because the umpire is the one who controls it.
That time a strike. And Shaw's pumped up. She's ready for the payoff pitch to come, but with 2 outs, the runners are going to be going. And Alexa Muller wants to send this ball in play with Sophie Sun at second and Quinn Salazar Stewart at first.
Any ball to the outfield is a run-scoring opportunity right here. That's what she's trying to do, find a hole.
3-2 the count. The wind and the delivery. It is a called strike three. Papert pumps, fires, completes it. 2-3 to end the inning, but Harvard is back ahead. They reply to Princeton's three with a trio of runs of their own, now leading 5-3. And Coach, what a back and forth start we've had here. Princeton, they'll try to get right back at it in the bottom of the second with the bottom third of the lineup due Goodwin, Hornberger, Papert.
And Ryan Grace starts just the way she wants to by flooding the zone with strike.
Can't get the second, so the count is even to Goodwin, the first baseman who is hitting .269. Now, interesting, you see the OPS is .595. The slugging's been good, but the on-base percentage is actually a tick lower than the batting average. She got her first walk of the season yesterday. Sends this one to center field. Fitzpatrick and Ayala can't get to it. Goodwin will get two out of this one, and the Tigers have a leadoff runner in scoring position.
It's funny, that ball was so high I thought it was going to be caught, but by the positioning of both fielders, you'll see they each had a long way to go. Fitzpatrick is all the way in center, Ayala's all the way in right, and the ball just is seeing eye and finds a hole.
And that, ironically, with the wind now dying down so far, we had the wind pulling in a lot yesterday. It was that way to start during pregame, but as it stands right now, not much of a factor, but that one able to fall in.
That's a really good point about the wind. Those flags have just been blowing. That ball yesterday is much easier catch for Fitzpatrick in center, but not today.
Hornberger is an extra base hit extraordinaire. 8 extra base hits out of 11 total. Got fooled on that one, and the appeal to third will confirm it's strike two.
I'm not sure that's who you appealed to, but that's okay.
Now, that's happened twice now, where they're going to third instead of first.
Mm-hmm. But anyhow, great pitch, great off-speed pitch, and Hornberger just can't hold it.
Hornberger just has to fend that one off. She shakes her head, not exactly seeing Ryan Grace to her liking.
And Grace is doing a great job mixing it up, keeping it down. Just the way she's spinning the ball out there, you can tell she's feeling pretty good about it right now.
.216 average, but again, great extra base hit percentage. Kind of a wild card, Abby Hornberger, so far. Boomer bust this season. The 0-2 is going to miss, I believe, outside.
And here we are. Princeton starts off the inning with a runner on second, scoring position early on. They've just given up 3. They want to come back and get one out of this.
1-2. And Hornberger sends this to left field. It falls foul.
Just misses about 6 inches.
I don't think she got the ideal drive on the ball. Kind of was almost to the knee when she got contact on the ball, and that caused the spin that prevented that from falling in and allowing Allie Goodwin to score from second.
Yep, and that is the way the ball's going to spin for a righty hitter out there, so you are correct.
1-2, this time a chase, swing and miss, as Ryan Grace has 3 strikeouts early. The first 4 retired, and the 4th being a sacrifice.
And she comes back and throws the ball high and hard, which is really what she hasn't been doing all this time, and it looks so appealing up there in the zone. Hornberger takes a big cut and misses.
So now the lefty Lauren Papert due up 3 of 23 at the plate, 3 RBIs, and takes strike 1. It again, game of inches. If that falls fair, this is very likely 5-4, but it's how you respond. If you get that little break in your favor, Grace, the next pitch was excellent. She'll try to get a scoreless inning here. Papert goes for the bunt and misses.
And here we are, again, Ryan Grace is controlling the situation. Yeah, the ball falls in the outfield, but she comes back, she pounds the strike zone, gets a strike, and is ahead of the hitter again.
1-2, and Papert has some carry, but reaching back to make the grab will be Sophie Sun. Quick charge of control by the shortstop to make it 2 away.
And if you were Ryan Grace, you feel good about it. It's the top of the order, but you have 2 outs now. So, bring it on. And again, if you're Sonia Zhang, you struck out the last time on an off-speed pitch. Good contact hitter. Right now, she wants to put the ball in play, send it out in the outfield, and knock a run in.
First pitch, be taken for a ball as the lineup indeed flips over to Zhang. Zhang hitting successfully in 14 of 19 games this season. Dominant freshman campaign. OPS was 1121 as a freshman this year. Entering today, 1051. Again, her and Sophie Sun were really two dominant factors in the Ivy League last year as freshmen, but Sun won out in terms of the yearly awards.
The talent, and quick hands, you see why she is such a good hitter. Gets around on that, but knocks it foul. Yeah, the talent level in the Ivy League has improved so much over the years. We saw it in the last couple years when you could see the top 4 teams in the tournament. Just from head to toe, really good pitching, kids who can swing the bat.
2-1 now, and Zhang ahead in the count. Taking another ball. Julia DeMay on deck, sent a shot to straight center over the wall. Will she get on, or will she get to the plate with multiple runners on? Zhang fouls us away.
And hitter's count, she was looking for her pitch, thought she had it and missed it. So here we are, full count. Not a tipping point right now, but Princeton wants to try to come back and at least get one run out of this. And obviously Harvard wants to shut them down. You're going to see Ryan Grace's best pitch here.
It is 3-2. The scoreboard hasn't updated here yet. And for the second time in as many plate appearances, Zhang goes down gawking. As we have our first scoreless inning of the afternoon, Harvard maintains a 5-3 lead.
Really good about their attention to detail and feels like they're ready to compete, even though they are young with 8 freshmen and 6 sophomores.
First pitch to Lael Ayala. And that'll be a 4-3 ground out. Harvard entered the weekend on a 6-game win streak. The pitching was dominant in 2 midweek shutouts. They struggled yesterday, but seeming like they're going to bounce back in this one. Princeton will have to counter with the haymaker of their own, but Harvard has a chance to break this game open here in the third as Maya Douglas due up.
And Princeton wants to try to put a 0 on this side of the defensive scoreboard. They haven't been able to stop them yet. It's a big inning for Shaw.
Shaw allowing 2 of the 3 runners inherited to score, but no runs charged to her ledger in that second. Again, she had the 13 shutout innings in her previous 2 appearances against the Crimson.
Even though we've talked about how talented this Harvard lineup is, it is still the bottom of the lineup today. And so you want to try to attack it from as a pitcher with no gifts and try to get out, have your first 1, 2, 3 inning of the day.
That missed on the outside. So Cassidy Shaw has a 1-1 count.
Douglas hit that ball deep in the hole last time. That's in there.
Sends this for extra bases. She singled in the second, will double here in the third. And Harvard, a chance to get another run on the board with an RBI opportunity for Savannah Fitzpatrick.
She hit the ball deep to the left side last time, goes with that outside pitch and finds a hole. Just goes with the pitch beautifully. And there is nothing you could do about that. That's a great hit. She gets a good jump. And Douglas winds up at second.
After being hitless in her previous 4, had a 5-game hit streak before that, but today, 2 of 2 start. 12 doubles out of her 36 hits last year as a junior, so showing once again she has the extra base hit prowess with Savannah Fitzpatrick due up. Fitzpatrick thinks about the bunt, pulls back, takes strike 1.
Fitzpatrick walked her first time up, but as you've mentioned before, she's a doubles machine, having 8 coming into this game.
And it seems the constant theme right now from Jenny Roan is just attack, attack, attack in terms of advancing those runners.
Or at least showing it and pulling the infield in and creating more room to hit one through. So now the corners are tighter than they have been. A ball in the 4 hole or the 6 hole, more space to get through both of those corners.
And the count is now even to Savannah Fitzpatrick, who last year was all Ivy League first team. Goes ahead in the count 2-1. Hit .319 last year, an OPS of .867, 28 RBIs. This year, a little bit back on that production, but hitting the part of the season where she wants to get back in stride. Ahead in the count 3-1. Walked her first time to the plate and awfully close to doing it again here.
Yep, had the hitters count, and that as a hitter, Fitzpatrick is looking for her pitch, what she considers, and something she can drive and knock in a run.
And what about the decision to go Douglas and Fitzpatrick 8 and 9? As Fitzpatrick fouls this one away. So far, first 3 attempts to reach successfully have been good. Fitzpatrick now will face a payoff pitch. But then that helps Selassie, who's 2 of 2. Finley Payne, who's reached twice. And eventually Sophie Sun, who's walked and on a bunt attempt went into a fielder's choice. Called strike 3, though. And it's a huge second out for Cassidy Shaw.
It's a big out as you flip the order. It's low and away, and it just handcuffed her. You'll see that pitch come in. A good job showing the frame by Lauren Pappert.
So as the lineup flips over to Audrey Selassie, she's 2 of 2, but they've been 2 perfectly placed bunts. Squares again, pulls back, swings and misses. The first bunt, regular infield, right to the nook, so to say, in that triangle along the first base line. And then the second time, the corners were crashed in, perfectly placed up the middle, right in front of the pitcher. As a result, 2 of 2 day, an infield meeting here after that first pitch, and I'm thinking that's what Coach Van Akkeren is discussing right now.
Talking about where to play the defense. The corners are so tight right now that there's so much room to knock one through. Now, I will say in her last at-bat, she showed a swing and then put down the bunt. So we'll see if she does the same thing this time. Listen, she's a dangerous hitter. She's on base twice, and now really what a corner has to do is read her hands and read her feet and respond accordingly. But she's got so much speed, if you don't jump on it right away, she's going to leg it out.
Yeah, she's used the bat as if she's a maestro in the first 2 at-bats, but again, the contact ability as well, and that's exactly why she's such a dynamic leadoff hitter. Selassie began the season really at a great rate, drawing walks. 8 walks out of the 11 total in the first 7 games, and now she's really become a danger on the base path. 6 of 7 stealing in the last 9 games. 7 of 9 for the season. So many assets she brings top of this Harvard lineup. Awaiting the 0-1 pitch from Cassidy Shaw, and slaps that foul.
Now, against Shaw yesterday, she did not reach base. She tried to put a bunt down, but popped it up to the third baseman. Well, she did reach, but she reached on a walk and then hit a ground ball to third. So she's looking for her first hit versus Shaw.
And it is Shaw with the 0-2 count, trying to make it the first scoreless inning for Harvard at the plate today after 13 scoreless innings yesterday. And she'll get the swing and miss. Cassidy Shaw has struck out 3 in her 2 innings facing Harvard, as the Crimson leave a runner stranded. Princeton will try to cut into their 2-run deficit.
Try to get something cooking as they are down 2 in this 3rd inning.
DeMay's shot to deep center, her 4th home run of the season. 17 RBIs now on the year. And that has moved 1 ahead of Carice Ford for the team lead. And it's the balance, Coach, as DeMay takes strike 1, so the count is even. DeMay 17 RBIs, Ford 16, Hornberger 15, Ha 14, Jong 12, Sabloni 11. How about that balance?
They've got the balance, and they've got a bunch of folks who can handle the bat. And so when you're down by 2 runs and there's 4 innings to go, you feel like you're still in the game, which of course they are. But you want to get started sooner rather than later, and Julia DeMay wants to get it going.
Ahead in the count 2-1 after the previous pitch barely missed. This one a bit off the mark. A little tap to The shoulder blade by Grace saying that was a mess up on my part.
And it is a tight strike zone. Everybody's adjusting now. Dumais has a great eye, and she looks at that pitch.
Yeah, definitely a great eye as she'll take strike two. 13 walks to lead the team as well. Last year, Dumais drew 27 walks, tied for fifth in a single season in Princeton softball history. Payoff pitch to come, and Dumais takes the hit by pitch. I believe that one sounded quite a bit worse than may have felt for Julia Dumais.
Yeah.
But already, Lisa Van Akron is discussing something in her score sheet with Bruce Kilmore, and that's Carice Ford re-entering the game. Again, it was Courtney Harrison pinch running and then going to left field. So Allison Ha will go back from DP to left field, and Ford is now back to the plate, having walked her first time up.
And Harrison will be done for the day. So Princeton would love to try to get something going. Ryan Grace has done such a good job the last couple innings. She's going to try to work ahead, but stay down in the zone.
Ford will take ball one. So Carice Ford, if you look at how she's been ripping the ball as of late, it is potentially moving her to the top of the conversation for Player of the Year in the Ivy League, at least at this portion of the year. 11 RBIs in her last four. Again, 7 in the 2 games yesterday. An active 3-game hit streak, an active 3-game home run streak. Hitting .533 in the 11 games. 16 of 30 at the plate, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. And ahead in the count, 3-0.
They clearly have a strategy, off speed, down and away. They don't want to give her anything in her kitchen that she can just obviously knock out of here, which she did twice yesterday. 3-0. Does she have a green light?
Does not, but it doesn't matter because it's ball 4. And now back-to-back walks. And, well, here's another player who has 7 RBIs this weekend, and Allison Ha, who had the RBI single in the first.
Yep.
Pick your poison.
Yeah. Listen, both of these teams can hit 1 through 9. I don't care where they are in the batting order. So right now, Ryan Grace, there's some activity out in the bullpen for Harvard. Ryan Grace wants to follow the plan coming in. She knows she gave up the hit last time and just getting out here.
We'll take strike one as Quinn Salazar-Stewart does a nice job of framing the edge there.
Yep. And you can't play any deeper than Audrey Salazzi is. If she is, she'd be on the other side of the fence at this point.
Pretty much at the track right now as Ha takes strike two. That was a big difference in location. And Grace places both pitches nicely.
Now with Salazzi playing so deep and Ha hitting the ball to left, there's a very good opportunity with just a basic line drive single for a run to score. But not that way.
Ha does not swing at 3 pitches and goes down looking.
And that was clearly a strike. I mean, that was just a beautiful, beautiful pitch. I don't know if she's looking for something else. She obviously thought the ball was outside the way she looked back at the umpire. But with 2 strikes, you have to make contact. You must protect.
That's now 5 strikeouts for Ryan Grace through 2 1/3 innings. 3 have been looking Lauren Sabloni, who did a nice squeeze bunt to first, her first time up, takes ball 1. And right now, that's, I think, the one disappointment if you're talking about this Tigers lineup, which has been excellent this weekend, is they can't be looking at these pitches. They got to be swinging, especially with Jung and Ha accounting for those 3 strikeouts looking. Those are batters you want swinging.
Absolutely.
Started off too high, had a nice drop to it, but misses the zone, and Lauren Sabloni ahead in the count.
And Sabloni, as you said, hit the squeeze yesterday, had a double yesterday, maybe 2 doubles yesterday, as a dangerous hitter.
Certainly throughout her career. 15 home runs, ties for 10th in program history. 87 career RBIs, a .316 hitter with an OPS of .871 over 161 games. The senior from North Reading, Massachusetts. 2-1 the count to Sabloni. Fooled by that one, but it falls low.
I'm not really sure where that missed. I have to be honest with you, but it obviously did it. Makes it a hitter's pitch for Sabloni, and Fitzpatrick wants to come in and keep it down.
The thumbs up before the 3-1 and fouls this away. Payoff pitch with one out, so not necessarily the runners are going to go here, but this is a huge moment here in the bottom of the third in what's been a game so far of huge moments at the plate.
And, Princeton wants to put some pressure back on Harvard and could do so by scoring a run here.
The 3-2, it misses high, and the bases are chock full of them. Pinch hit scenario, perhaps, or do they trust Graciela Dominguez? Well, right now I see 1-5 going to the plate. That would be Julieta Roa. Dominguez again had that real torrid stretch during one of the several weekend trips for Princeton softball where she went 11 of 16 in a 4-game span, but has since cooled as of late. And now you go with potentially Roa here at the plate, the freshman from Gardena, California. And the only previous game she's had at bats was against George Mason this year. So a very limited sample size for the freshman.
So I'm imagining, I don't know, Dominguez has struck out 3 times this weekend. Roa has a lot of speed. You want to try to put the ball in play because Harvard has made some errors. So you put the ball in play, put the pressure back on the Harvard defense. Bases are loaded, 1 out. This is a big point in this game for both teams.
We've had a ton of important situations so far already. What you would expect from Princeton, the preseason favorite, and Harvard, the preseason number 2 in the first Ivy League weekend of the year. It's the last time we're going to mention preseason polls, but it is what sets the scene, at least for the media types, as the count 0-1, Roa takes a pitch outside.
So Roa looks like she is, looking to slap the ball if she can. She'd like to do it to the left side, to the right side. Left side's really tight. Finley Payne's a little deeper. Runners are going on contact on the ground.
Tries to put down the bunt, misses. Dumais. There could have been a throw back to third, but no throw as Dumais gets back there.
So that was not a suicide squeeze. That was a safety bunt. Dumais needed to see the ball down before she was going. Got a good lead, but was able to get back.
So now a 1-2 count, and this would be huge if Grace can get a strikeout. Roa fouls it away. And well, here's a chance for really the first time for Roa to make her mark known in this high-pressure situation. And these are the things that, as a team, you need everybody involved. For Princeton, every player on the roster has gotten playing time this year, all key roles, as the 1-2 misses outside.
And you have to take your hat off to Coach Van Ackern, and she's going to give a rookie a chance who gives her the matchup she's looking for, put the ball in play, she's got wheels, and she's still looking for her first college hit.
Julia Dumais at third, Carice Ford at second, Lauren Sabloni at first as Julieta Roa fouls away a 2-2 pitch. Again, the Tigers getting all 3 of their runners on by walks. The free passes continuing to be an issue for Harvard. 4 walks compared to 5 strikeouts for Ryan Grace. As the 2-2 is swung on and missed, a beautiful off-speed offering to make it 2 away as the lineup moves to Allie Goodwin.
Yep, great pitch. She stayed within herself. You see the rookie just looking, and as a slapper, it's really hard to make that adjustment on the off-speed pitch, and she's not able to do it.
Couldn't quite find the timing and reach, and so with 2 away, Goodwin doubled her first time up, but that kind of hung in the air right center. Perhaps another way that Harvard had the shading of the outfield, it would have been an F8 or F9.
But you just see Ayala just taking a step more towards center just because of that, to make that adjustment, which does leave a big hole to right, but they're trying to make up for that ball that fell in last time. with runners, obviously with the bases loaded and 2 out, Princeton looking to get a run here and make it close.
Oh, Allie Goodwin wanted the timeout, wasn't granted the timeout, and a called strike two. And Lisa Van Ackeren saying she literally was not even in the box.
Well, the thing is, she asked for time and the umpire didn't give it to her. So you cannot get out as a batter um, without being granted the timeout. So you'll see she puts her hand up, but no response by the umpire. Coach Van Ackeren never gets mad.
Yeah, and she left mad too.
Yep. But in all fairness, Allie Goodwin needed to stay in the box. She didn't get the timeout granted.
1-2 the count now. 2 outs. And Goodwin sends it over to second. This will be routine to first. And Harvard getting the little breaks today they didn't get yesterday. They capitalize and leave the bases loaded. Still leading by a 5-3 score through 3 innings. Ryan Grace having 6 strikeouts through 3 innings, and over the last 2 Princeton team at-bats, leaving 4 stranded, including 3 in scoring position. So it's still a 5-3 Harvard lead, and they have the heart of the lineup due up 2-3-4 in the top of the 4th with a prime opportunity to extend their lead.
Yep, Harvard is really controlling the game, and as you said, the strikeouts for Princeton, 3 of them looking. You know, you're just taking the opportunity away when you have it, and it makes it much more difficult, obviously.
Yeah, the little things that, granted, it was an 8-0 game in 6 innings in game 1 yesterday, but that was a game where the little things, Princeton did it right, Harvard didn't, and that blew the game wide open. It was mostly said a very tight game. This feels like today, the little things Harvard's doing right and Princeton not as much. And so now all of a sudden you're at a juncture in the game where if it comes up to one of those moments again, does the script flip, or is Harvard going to really grab control of this game?
It feels like the script has flipped. And as you said, a little thing that doesn't show up in the scorebook. Allie Goodwin asking for timeout, not getting it. They get a strike on it. Now she's forced with 2 strikes. Hits the ball hard, but right at the second baseman. Little things that make a difference.
Yep. Still a discussion here. There was what I would think would be a routine return over at second for Graciela Dominguez back in for Julieta Roa, and there's been a lot of scorecard discussion, so that at least puts some doubt in the mind of if it's just a traditional return. We'll get a confirmation of all that.
In the meantime, Harvard has started off every inning with a runner on base. Let's see if they do so again.
My only guess is they just want to make sure, because Allison Haas back in left field, if all that was fine, which it would be, as the first pitch swinging by Payne is fouled.
Harvard has not gone down in order anytime this game. You know that is what the goal is for the Tigers and Cassidy Shaw.
Again, Cassidy Shaw entered the game midway through the second inning, did not allow any runs scored off of her, but 2 inherited runners did come in to score. But if you look at the last 14 innings she's started against Harvard, they've all been scoreless innings and 15 innings total statistically. So she's going to try to keep that up against this Crimson lineup, which has been really cooking today.
And in the toughest part of the lineup, so this will be a good test for her.
Payne sends that down the left field line, but foul.
Yep, that lefty hitting that way, that's the way the ball's going to spin. Misses it by about a foot. So Shaw is up in the count. Payne, though, had that hit to right last time, has been on been on base both times, easy for me to say, as she was hit the first time up to bat.
1-2, sent over to short, easy grab for Dumais, albeit good contact by Finley Payne, and there's one away.
And you know what's funny? It was right at her, but you could see the ball just keep rising, and you could see Dumais just sort of track it with her glove. The line balls, the shots right at you are sometimes the hardest ones.
So there is one away. It's a busy weekend on campus for Princeton athletics. We know that Baseball had a bit of an interesting situation. They didn't complete the second game of their doubleheader yesterday due to darkness, because that game was in extras against Dartmouth. Game 2 finished today in the bottom of the 14th. A walk-off two-run single by Jake Coonan. They're in Game 2 today, but so much going on campus this time of year, and many different campuses in collegiate athletics. The men's and women's basketball tournaments, the Division I wrestling tournament all this weekend. As Demay makes another grab, it's 2 up, 2 down, as Sophie Sun still looking for her first hit this weekend.
And Shaw had entered the game against Sun earlier, so now everybody is seeing her the second time through the order today. Obviously, they saw her yesterday.
And here's, as an effective hitter as anybody today, Quinn Salazar-Stewart, the freshman, as you see, 2 singles, 3 RBIs, second career multi-hit game, and the last time was her debut against Furman. Every other game where she had a hit, and we mentioned it's, 15 and 19, 15 of 18. Every other game was 1 hit. So now back to multiple hits. Down in the count 0-1. And takes strike 2.
And you know what I like about her too? I mean, besides she's short, she's compact, she's got quick hands, and she just hits the ball where it's pitched, which makes you a very effective hitter.
Cassidy Shaw locked in, assuring every infielder to be ready for this next pitch. She's trying to make it a 1-2-3 inning. Ahead in the count, 0-2. Winds and delivers, and Salazar-Stewart slices that foul.
If that were to happen, it would be the first 1-2-3 inning by either team today. So there have been a lot of runners on base all day.
We mentioned both of these lineups very potent top to bottom. The pitching is strong as well, but sometimes the game takes on imagination of its own, and so far it's been about production batting. 0-2. Salazar-Stewart a little bit further down the right field line. Diving effort, but not quite there by Carice Ford. So that was actually I think the change they all wanted to discuss, because it was Abby Hornberger beginning at right, and now Ford is at that position.
Gives it a good go, just can't quite get there.
So once again, an 0-2 count. Shaw to Salazar-Stewart. And that is flared over to second. A hop. 2 hops, actually. The ball just died, and Graciela Dominguez can't get the throw in time.
Her mistake was not attacking the ball. She let it take that last little hop, and when you have somebody who has speed like that, it's going to come back and bite you. If there was one little bounce, you'll see it right here. You've got to attack the ball. That last hop needed to go get it and get a quick release. And Quinn Salazar's on with that infield hit.
Perhaps that's where it being the first weekend here at Cynthia Paul Field may have led to that decision making. You know, if it's all dirt, you're definitely attacking. Perhaps you think if it's turf, you have a little bit of an extra opportunity, as it is trapped and then knocks off the glove of Ford. It'll be another hit for Priyanka Call, and Harvard all of a sudden a chance for a 2-out rally.
You know, she comes up, she attacks the ball, goes with it. I mean, that is just a tough ball, that hard hit ball. Carice Ford can't come up with it, but the fact that she doesn't field it cleanly, and now you have Quinn Salazar on third in scoring position.
It will be charged as a single plus E9 for that advancement from second to third. And so Alexa Muller was due up, but we have seen in each game this series Alexa War pinch hit. She'll do so again at a single in game 1 yesterday and was out in game 2. High volume starter as a freshman last year, hitting .256. Sophomore this year from Phoenix, providing that extra ability as a pinch hitter.
You know, again, we talked about yesterday, all the little things went in Princeton's favor. Today, it feels like all the little things, like that little ground ball to get the third out, not attacking it, and now we have runners on scoring position for War for Harvard.
Well, of course, it all depends on if you can capitalize on those mistakes, and Harvard so far has been capitalizing. They'll try to do it again as Ward will swing and miss at the first pitch.
Good outside pitch, and Morris clearly going up there trying to make contact, looking forward to put some more pressure on this Princeton Tiger defense and create another scoring opportunity for Harvard. Like when that pinch hitter comes up there swinging.
0-1. Here's the wind and the pitch taken for strike 2. Did want to keep my eyes on Priyanka Call at first to see if Harvard might try to put some pressure on Princeton on the base paths. She did not go on either pitch. See if perhaps that's the case here, because sometimes you can try and get the old bait and have the runner head from third to home.
Absolutely.
0-2. War slices that foul.
And War did face Shaw yesterday where she popped it up to Allie at first base.
One other thing to note. You mentioned the single by Salazar Stewart that fell in front of Dominguez. Remember, Ford gave a diving effort on the slice just wide of the line down the right field line that she couldn't quite catch.
Right.
So again, there was in two scenarios in that at-bat. Little things breaking Harvard's way. 0-2 the count. Ward keeps it alive. Still an opportunity to capitalize on this two-out rally.
Yep. And she is going up there, making contact, putting all the pressure on Cassidy Shaw and this Princeton defense.
10 hits by Harvard with multi-hit games by Audrey Selassie, Quinn Salazar Stewart, Priyanka Call, and Maya Douglas. As the pinch hitter, Alexa Ward once again faces an 0-2 count, and she'll flare this one to third. Sonia Zhang makes the grab. And for the second consecutive inning, Harvard without a run as runners left stranded at the corners. Hitter for Abby Hornberger as Jessica Phelps will be at the plate facing Ryan Grace. And Grace, 6 strikeouts, 4 walks, 3 runs allowed, 2 earned on 3 hits through 4 innings. And don't worry about it as much in softball, say, compared to baseball, but the pitch count currently at 74 through 3 innings. And obviously that is a high rate for Grace, who pitched twice yesterday.
And I think she had about 55 pitches, if I'm not mistaken. So she has a lot left in the tank, and right now all she's worrying about is Phelps.
Freshman from San Diego takes ball 1. One career start that was in the second game of 2 at Santa Clara. The rest of her appearances have been pinch hitting. And that includes a double against George Washington, a sacrifice fly against San Jose State, an RBI single in the second game against the Spartans, a walk against South Dakota State, and then a single in game 1 yesterday against Harvard. 2-0 sends this one to left. Selassie back, looks over. Goodbye, softball. A pinch hit home run by the freshman Jessica Phelps has this deficit cut down to 1. It's 5-4.
Coach Van Ackeren has this unbelievable ability, and these hitters obviously make her look so smart. Last year, Hornberger was the pinch hitter extraordinaire, and now maybe this role is going to fall to Phillips. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
boy, that ball is just a rocket. No doubt about it. Just a little bit because of the cold air. I wasn't sure, but boy, she sure got all of it.
So Phelps gets the job done, and that is her first home run wearing a Princeton Tigers jersey as another pinch hitter. It'll be catcher to catcher, at least in this scenario, with another freshman, Braden Hale, due up. And so, you mentioned it, the decision by Coach Van Ackeren, as there will be a pitching change for Harvard. We'll get back to that point, but Abby Hornberger was having some trouble seeing Ryan Grace in the circle. Not the case for Jessica Phelps. It's 5-4. We'll have more when we come back. Two-way player Katie Ehrenbeid is the sixth different Harvard pitcher to enter the circle this weekend. You see, it's just her third appearance this year, but a ton of experience through her first three seasons. 17 and 15 career record with a 3.16 ERA, 184 innings pitched, 4 shutouts, 5 saves. So the senior well versed in a situation like this. 5-4 now the score after the pinch hit home run by Jessica Phelps. It is Braden Hale, the lefty, that is now pinch hitting in the 9 spot. And fouls this away. Hale got the game to start yesterday and performed quite well. Solid contact in every plate appearance.
Yep, was on base 2 times, once she reached by an error on a hard hit ball. Lefty hitter who's going to try to put the ball in play, had yesterday at least hit everything to the left side.
0-1, and that missed, I guess, high, and the count is even.
Ehrenbeid has, as you said, only has thrown 2 innings so far this year, and I was wondering if she was hurt when I spoke to Coach Roan earlier in the week, and she just said she's working on some stuff, so I'm not sure.
She's good to go today. Misses high.
Throws a good rise, and I'm sure part of the reason that Coach Roan decides to go with her, she said all hands were on deck. She wants to show this Princeton Tigers offense something different.
That's certainly a sign of respect as it gets through somehow past Finley Payne. I believe that is going to be kind of a tough luck there for an E4 statistically for Hale, but again, good contact. Second error of the game for Harvard.
And, she did her job, put the ball in play hard, but right under her glove. Finley Payne, she'll be mad at herself for that. She expects to make that play.
In a situation, because it more or less went through her, it doesn't necessarily need to hit the glove for that to be ruled an error.
Absolutely.
Lineup flips over. Sonia Jong, I think, going to be happy that she's not facing Ryan Grace right now because she struck out twice looking.
Yep, she did. And Jung was one of the more reliable hitters in the past of putting the ball in play, and right now that's what she's looking to do to try to get the Tigers back in this game.
But behind in the count, 0-2.
And she just looks like she's unsure of the strike zone at this point, and that's not about the umpires. That's probably about her confidence as a hitter.
Well, all it takes is one swing to get the confidence back. Here comes the 0-2. Jong lays off. It's ball 1.
Yep. Top of the order, and again, going back to yesterday, she looked at a lot of pitches, got on base with the walk early on. She's looking to get on base any way she can right now with no outs.
1-2. That gets away from Salazar Stewart. And Braden Hale has a bit of a rabbit's foot, gets on by error, advances to second by wild pitch.
And so Jong's done her job just by being up there. Now she really wants to advance the runner, try to get something to the right side, and advance Hale.
Sends us first base side, so that will advance the runner on the 4-3 ground out to Finley Payne. It's a productive out by Sonia Jong, and with one away, hitters 2 and 3 due up. There's a few cracks at tying this game up.
Yep, absolutely. But Jong did her job. She may not have a hit to show for it, but just by putting that ball to the right side, Hale's able to advance easily. And now it's up to Dumais and Karis Ford.
Well, this is what I do, Coach. I do 4-3, and I do a check mark after that to say the productive out as Julia Dumais takes a ball high.
Absolutely. And Dumais has been, not exactly on base with a home run, but started the game with a home run, hit last time up to bat. So she's looking to keep the production going.
Junior from Cambria, New York, reaching successfully twice so far, now ahead in the count. 2-0, Karis Ford, due up on deck, has walked twice after homering twice, once in each game yesterday. This could get hairy for the Crimson if they can't get something here. As the take and strike makes the count 2-1. Now, this is something here where I'm looking at the field, and the outfield is way back. And if you're Julia Dumais, if you can just dunk something over the infield, there's a chance that you get on base and you score the run.
Yep. Anything through this infield, the outfield is so deep. And listen, no disrespect. We saw the gun that Salazi
Yeah,
has in left field, but they are
I'm not
so
dissing
deep.
her.
Yep. Anything that she can put through the infield is going to be producing a run.
3-1 the count. Big rip and miss. Now, my 40 time might not be what it used to be, but these players on the field, they're still at peak 40 times. So we'll see what happens. But a payoff pitch to come, and if Aaron Bide can get a strikeout, how huge would that be?
It would be so big for Aaron Bide and Harvard right now to get out of this. Sit Dumais home, who's been so dangerous this whole weekend.
3-2 misses high, may have hit Dene, not sure. It squirted off the glove, but it is a free pass nonetheless.
And, part of the reason Dumais is such a good hitter, you saw her smile, sort of laugh at herself after she swung at that high pitch, went fishing a little bit. She knew, what she did and was not going to do it a second time. So here, could we have a bigger point in the game right now for Karis Ford? First and third, obviously two big hits yesterday. Runners in scoring position, down by a run, one out. Big situation for both teams.
Harvard would love to see that swing to the middle of the infield and try to end the inning with two. Ford takes strike one. And of course, if you're Ford, you're just trying to make it leave the infield. If it gets to the outfield, there is a chance with Braden Hale over at third.
And Aaron Bud's trying to induce a double play, something on the ground that she can get herself out of it or at least get through Ford without an advancement.
This will prevent the double play. Julia DeMay goes and gets the stolen base. We haven't seen much of Princeton this year. That's the biggest shock in 2025. Princeton entering the game with just 10 stolen bases in the first 19 games. Not very much we see that too often with at least the Van Akron team, but that stolen base by Julia DeMay, her second. Two runners in scoring position, a ball taken by Ford, 2-1 the count.
It's a balancing act. You love to put the pressure on with the steal, but when your team is such a good hitting team, you want to give them the opportunity to hit as well. So it's a good problem to have.
It was with one out, so you did kind of have something to burn if you wanted to try to bait Harvard and get that run in and make it a second out on the base paths. But now it's a 3-1 count to Carice Ford with the bag open at first, maybe a little bit more of the light, so to say, to pitch around Carice Ford.
You sure don't want to make a mistake.
Ford, though, will swing at the 3-1 pitch and foul it away. Payoff pitch to come. Aaron Bide is still attacking.
Yep, and there's somebody warming up in the outfield, so I'm not sure how much leeway Aaron Bide's going to have at this point. She hasn't thrown a lot. It's obviously a high-pressure situation. If she can get out of it, she will have more than done her job.
3-2. It's outside. The bases are chock full for the second consecutive inning. Now, Princeton had bases loaded, one out, strikeout, ground out. They did not score. It's 5-4. There'll be a pitching change by Harvard as Nicolette Hunter will enter back into the circle. We'll talk about her as she faces Princeton's Allison Ha when we return. Start in that 6-0 loss, 2 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs allowed on 7 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And she can't have balls go in play that go against the Crimson because the bases are loaded for Allison Ha, who struck out looking on 3 pitches last time, and it was taken strike, taken strike, taken strike. She'll try to atone for that and do what she did back in the first inning, and that's produce a run with a single.
And yet, you think part of the matchup is Hunter was very successful against her yesterday. Got a strikeout, down and in, and a ground ball to first base.
Ha swings at the first pitch, and this is ripped up the middle. 2 runs will come in to score. From third, Hale. From second, Dumais. A 2-run single by Allison Ha, who has a 4 RBI game, a 2 RBI game, and now a 3 RBI game this weekend against Harvard.
And, Allie Ha had a plan. That ball was not a bad pitch. It was down in the zone, and Ha just laced it to center field. Really good at bat. Not a bad pitch by Hunter.
6-5 Princeton leads for the first time today as they have eyes on their first sweep against Harvard since 2017. Now, that was when it was cross-divisional, so it was a 2-game set. Princeton won both and then ended up having the hosting of the Ivy League Championship Series over at the Class of 1896 field, and they won both games there, so they went 4-0 that year against the Crimson.
I'm not ready to talk about a sweep at this point. I think
No,
there's a lot of
it's
softball left.
there is a ton left.
I think
based
there's
on how
probably
this
a
is going.
lot of runs left to be scored, but what I will say is Sabloni's up. She's a good hitter with the bases loaded. She is looking to extend this lead right now.
And a favorable count, 2-0. Sends this one, a flare over the reach of Sun into left field. Rounding third, coming home to score is Carice Ford. Allison Ha had a 2-run single. Lauren Sabloni, an RBI single. 2 today for Sabloni, 12 on the season, 7-5, Tigers lead.
You know, we talk all day about a game of inches. This ball just gets over the glove of Sophie Sun.
Didn't miss by much there,
Nope.
did Sophie Sun.
Nope. Timed her leap, had her head up to get her glove as far as up as it'll go, but it just gets over, as you'll see it right here. Does everything she can.
And because that's just barely over Sun, the ball rolling in front of Selassie, too much time where she has to run up to get it, where she couldn't really get a throw to beat out Carice Ford.
Who, you know, quite frankly, is not the most fleet of foot tiger out there. So it was exactly the way it needed to be for her to be able to score.
Princeton has 4 on the board in this inning, looking for more. Still 1 out, 2 on for Graciela Dominguez, who struck out her first time up. And will take strike 1. Still trying to find that batting success in her first career Ivy weekend as a starter. Last year as a freshman, again, was a pinch hit and defensive sub. This year a starter at second. Takes ball 1.
And, you know, I don't think she's thinking big picture, you know, as far as her first hit, but what she certainly is thinking is she wants to try to put the ball in play, anything to the outfield. She has a chance to knock in a run.
Takes ball 2, which didn't miss by much. A little bit of the body language indicating that from Nicolette Hunter.
Yep.
Kind of leaned the body, being like, oh, can we twist that around a little bit more to get that a strike? Not quite.
Hunter is looking now, you know, to put a pitch down in the zone that she can induce a ground ball, maybe a double play.
Ooh, inside corner, strike 2. And that certainly will get Hunter more locked in. Dominguez will try to protect the plate. 2-2 the count. And she lays off what will now be a 3-2 count.
But runners are, you know, need to see the ball in play as there is only 1 out. Anything on the ground, they're going to be taking a good lead and get on their horse and get going.
That is going to be ball 4 after the appeal to third. Brendan Hibbler confirms she did not go on the swing. Graciela Dominguez draws a walk. The bases are loaded again as Princeton has batter number 9 of the inning due up. And Allie Goodwin, the fortunate double in the second. The ground out with bases loaded in the third. Plate appearance in which on a 1-1 count she asked for a timeout, was not granted, stepped out of the box. It was a taken strike 2, and on the 1-2 pitch right over to second. She'll try to atone for that. Takes ball 1.
And had a single off of Hunter yesterday in her first at-bat, so she's going to try to vibe those good feelings now, put the ball in play, knock something through, and try to add to this Princeton lead.
Haas at third, Sabloni at second, Dominguez at first. And at the plate, Allie Goodwin now has a 2-0 count.
Coach Roan is coming out. I'm not sure if she's making another change.
It's been a bit of a rough weekend for the Harvard Arms in terms of the strike rate, and we're going to see the 4th different pitcher of this 4th inning, with the Tigers already having a 4 spot. 2-0 the count, mid-count. We see a pitching change. We'll talk about that when we return from Cynthia Paul Field. The junior from Phoenix, Riley Flynn, started game one yesterday. As you see her numbers on the season, they've been really strong. 211 batting average allowed, but the walk to strikeout ratio right around one. That was the case yesterday. 4 2/3 innings, 5 runs allowed, all earned on 5 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Faces a bases loaded situation against Princeton's Allie Goodwin, and the count is 2-0 in favor of Goodwin. So this is more than a tough spot for Flynn because she has a tough spot with less margin of error in terms of what she throws over the plate.
And I'm guessing coaches Sutherland, the pitching coach, and Roan saw what they saw and decided to make that change. Flynn is an accomplished pitcher, was Rookie of the Year when she was a freshman, has been in these high leverage situations before, throws the ball harder than everybody else. So right now, they feel like this is their best option.
The inning began with Ryan Grace in the circle allowing a solo home run to Jessica Phelps, who's right now on deck, as a taken strike by Allie Goodwin makes the count 2-1. Then you had Katie Arambide on for the next 4 batters. E4, productive 4-3 ground out, walk, and then Nicolette Hunter, the 3 after that, 2-run single, RBI single, walk, as now Allie Goodwin has a 3-1 count.
I'm so glad that's your job to recap all that. I'll just sort of talk a little softball with you.
Try to keep the narrative side going here. A huge moment, though, coming up. 3-1 to count. Princeton up by 2. And this is swung on and sent to left. Selassie tracking back, makes the grab. Here comes the throw. It will be cut off as a run comes in to score. That's Allison Ha on the sacrifice fly to left by Allie Goodwin. RBI number 7 of the season and an 8-5 Princeton lead.
You know, what you saw on that, though, was the great arm by Selassie. So the run scores, she's at the fence, but now you get to see this pinch hit home run by Hale, and let's see what happens here.
Correction, that was Jessica Phelps, and she's back up.
Jessica Phelps, that's who I meant.
That's how the inning started. Takes strike one.
Yep, she got all of this started, and she has another opportunity in the same inning. That doesn't happen often. You pinch hit, and you get to come up again in the same inning.
0-1.
And she's in the designated player, I'm guessing, position, so that I wouldn't be surprised if she stayed in the game.
So you can certainly make that argument if she gets something going here again with 2 on, 2 outs, 1-1 the count. The pitch from Riley Flynn is high and wide.
If Phelps can find a way to, hit something through the infield, it'll be a very good opportunity to score another run here and add to this because, again, I just don't think this game is done being scored.
2-1. And that misses perhaps high. 3-1 the count. 5 runs in this inning, and of the 5 runs, by my count, 3 earned at max because the sacrifice fly would have been the 3rd out. 3-1 is fouled away. That was on the Braden Hale at bat. Hale is on deck. Again, you could have a situation if Phelps reaches where you have 2 pinch hitters see 2 plate appearances in the same inning.
I just don't think that happens much.
No, it does not. Flynn hoping that's not the case. Wants to get out of the inning right here. The payoff pitch is swung on and fouled away. The runners, of course, are going to be going. Sabloni fleet of foot at second. Graciela Dominguez also fleet of foot at first.
Yep, but Flynn, she doesn't care about anything else that happens. Right now, she's looking for a big pitch, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it be the rise.
Payoff is swung on and missed, and Flynn getting the job done, but not until Princeton, after facing 4 Harvard pitchers, plate 5 and grab the lead. Princeton ahead 8-5 from Cynthia Paul Fielder. A big inning at the plate for Princeton, but as you see, Harvard through 14 at-bats, 10 hits, still very much in it with Cassidy Shaw in the circle, and now as part of the battery, Braden Hale at catcher remaining in the game after pinch hitting for Lauren Pappert reached on an error, scored a run during the bottom of the fourth. As we're here now in the top of the fifth, a bunt attempt is pulled back to begin this fifth inning.
Ayala only had one at bat yesterday, and against
Well,
Cassidy Shaw.
this is not Ayala. This is Elena Weinsheimer pinch hitting.
Oh, thank you so much.
So much going on here. Sometimes the substitutions flying right by here.
Got by me, absolutely. Interestingly enough, though, she pinch hit yesterday and popped up to short.
I believe that was in game 2 against Cassidy Shaw.
Yep, you are correct again.
Weinsheimer sends that into the opening, and it's going to get past Lauren Sabloni for extra bases. A little bit of trouble for Sabloni to pick it up, but no extra base. It's a leadoff double.
She got all of that, found the alley, and starts off just the way she wanted to. Hits that, gets all the ball. Sabloni has no chance at that shot.
Yeah, just had enough carry on the turf where Sabloni couldn't cut it off. And Maya Douglas, 2 of 2 at the plate, single and double is up to bat. And if Harvard wants to kick the energy right back in their favor, now's the time to do it.
Yep, this is a game that I just feel like I'm surprised when I see a 0 being put up on the scoreboard. It feels like there's been so many opportunities to score on both teams, for both teams.
Well, that's the thing. Yesterday in the game 2 shutout, Cassidy Shaw allowed just 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 3+ innings right now. Harvard already has 5 hits against Shaw, although still trying to find that first run against double sevens.
Well, starting off with a runner on second is the way to do it, that's for sure.
That's a good help, for sure. And Douglas, 2 of 2 at the plate. Fitzpatrick, 8 doubles on the season, walked in her first plate appearance on deck. And then Audrey Salasi with 2 hits in the hole. There's a chance for Harvard to get right back in it here in the fifth. A crucial inning if you want to start the rally back in your favor. 0-2 the count. Douglas protects the plate, fouls it away. Tad bit late to see the ball, but does the job to get to the next pitch.
Yep, just does just what she needs to do. Tries to go with the outside pitch. We see warming up the freshman Hollenkamp for the Tigers.
0-2, the wind and delivery. That misses well off the mark. And we have yet to mention Kayala Hollenkamp, the freshman from Tampa, had a stretch of pitching in relief in 15 of 16 games. Did not play in the season opener, but 15 appearances heading into this weekend. Obviously didn't pitch either game yesterday because you had 2 shutouts.
Well, won't be surprised if we see her today.
1-2, misses eye level, almost helmet level high. That's the thing. Shaw pitched a lot yesterday. Good amount today. And you do have to rely on pitching depth during these Ivy League weekend series. But for now, we focus on the 2-2 count with a runner at second, nobody out. Shaw to Douglas. And this misses low. It was a strong start to the plate appearance by Shaw, but these last 3 pitches have not been where they're supposed to be.
The infield is deep. The corners are playing like baseball. Behind the base, they know that Maya Douglas is not going to put a bunt down. She's looking to knock it around a little bit, and so the infield is about as deep as it can possibly be.
Now the payoff pitch. Douglas a bit underneath it, but it has some carry to left, and this one's going to get over the wall. Goodbye, softball, as Maya Douglas says, don't forget about us. She gets to eat as a round tripper for 2 makes this a 1-run game. Got just a bit underneath it, but enough strength behind the swing, and it's the first time Cassidy Shaw has allowed runs against Harvard this weekend.
Yep, she got all of that ball. The only thing I wasn't sure if the wind and the cold air might knock it down, but That was gone all the way.
What a day for Maya Douglas. 3 of 3 at the plate. Single, double, and now home run with RBIs 8 and 9 on the season.
And you bring up Fitzpatrick to just keep it going. Still no outs in the inning for the Tigers.
Sends it over to third. Jung makes a nice play. A few steps in a throw, and that will be in time. That might actually be the toughest part is step, throw.
Yep. And she literally just stabbed at that ball, but did everything she needed to make the stop. That's a big out for Princeton because now we flip the order, get to the top of the order as Harvard builds this momentum.
Audrey Selassie. 2 bunt singles, forcing the corners in. Well off the mark by Shaw. And Coach, you mentioned it when it was 8-5 Princeton who was batting. Yeah, you still want to put the pressure on because you didn't feel like it was going to end that way. There was going to be more offense, and that's certainly the case after that Douglas 2-run shot.
There's been so much pressure by both teams. I'm surprised to see any zeros on the scoreboard up there. But of course there are. So Selassie is looking like she's going to slap, looking like she's going to put the ball in play. It's a big strike there.
Last time up, struck out to end the third with the runner left stranded at second.
Just calling time.
And then kind of saying, can you grant it to me, please?
The corners are need to read her hands right now. She's shown before like she's going to hit, and then the next at bat, she'll put a bunt down. It's important that they read her hands and try to hop on anything small.
It was slapped foul wide of the line, third base side. And so the 1-2 count to Audrey Selassie, the sophomore. Back to a 1-run game.
Struck out on the off speed last time, but has had a really good weekend. 2 hits to start this game, first 2 at bats.
1-2 the count. And that just a bit off the mark, but Selassie keeping the plate discipline. So far, no walks by Cassidy Shaw on this Sunday appearance. Harvard doubling up Princeton in terms of hits, 12-6, but the 3 passes have certainly been more of a trouble for Harvard as a called strike 3 gives Cassidy Shaw her 4th strikeout, and it's the 3rd looking.
That's a really good pitch. She just pitches it, the corner there. Yep.
Second baseman.
Good frame. Lets the umpire see it. Freezes Selassie.
And Shaw pumped as there's now 2 away. No more margin for error after the 2-run shot by Maya Douglas. A 1-run game here in the 5th. And for Princeton, entering today at 7 and at 12, a -3 run differential despite -5 win-loss. And part of that had to do with some of the late game losses against that tough slate in the middle of this year. As the 1-0 count to Payne, who lined out to short her last time, getting good contact all weekend, gets strike 1. The last 6 losses for Princeton, 5 coming in the opponent's last team at bat. And so it is a reminder, you got to go every out in this sport, and in particularly this type of game.
You need to get all 21 to be done unless you're up by a lot, and you don't need to play at the end.
And this one may have a chance to tie. Ford tracking back. She'll run out of room. Goodbye softball as Finley Payne gives Harvard their 2nd home run of the inning. And we're tied back up at 8. Maya Douglas had her 2nd long ball this season earlier in the inning, and Payne does the same.
I think we're going to see a pitching change, but she gets all of that pitch. Ford's hoping that she's got room, but there's not a chance.
What a game for these 2 offenses as we are tied at 8. We'll head to a break, and not yet actually. We're waiting for the change, and now it will come. So we will indeed head to a break. A tie game, bases empty, 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Well, it took until the 11th inning against Cassidy Shaw for Harvard to score against double sevens, but 2 home runs has tied the game up at 8, and now the freshman from Tampa, Kayala Hollenkamp, is on 15 relief appearances entering today. So she's actually now, after today, appeared in 80% of Princeton games, 22 and two-thirds innings. ERA and batting average allowed, again, against a very quality competition. More to me is the strikeout to walk ratio that she will want to see improve as she gets into Ivy League play, her first appearance against a league foe.
And welcome to the league. You're opening up your Ivy League experience against Sophie Sun, who was Player of the Year last year, Rookie of the Year, and is a very dangerous hitter. So, Coach obviously has a lot of confidence in her to bring her in this situation.
Well, not much of a tougher way to have your Ancient 8 debut for Kayala Hollenkamp. Sophie Sun still looking for that first hit of the weekend. And flares this one over to second. One pitch, one swing, one out. Quick way to get things started off for the first year. But we are tied after Harvard getting home runs by Maya Douglas and Finley Payne. We are back even 4.5 innings through. So after Princeton sent 10 to the plate in the 4th inning, they were hoping they'd be still leading going into the 5th. That's not the case. We are even. Finley Payne, you see, she had one of the 2 home runs. It was the game-tying solo shot as the lefty Braden Hale due up. Pinch hit in the 4th, reached an error, scored a run, remaining in at catcher. And well, this game just keeps twisting and turning every which way possible. We'll see what is due up here. It's a swing to center field. Fitzpatrick tracking back. She'll not be able to make the catch on the run at the track. Scored it off the glove. We'll see if it's a double or an error, but either way, a leadoff runner in scoring position. Does look like they have hit number 7 on the board for Princeton.
Sorry about that. Fitzpatrick has a long way to go and just can't quite get there, and Hale reaches base on the double.
Yeah, a bit of a plus effort needed to secure that grab as Fitzpatrick never had a chance to settle on the ball. And so Hale all weekend getting good contact, and the freshman starting to hit her stride, come into Ivy League play. And again, we say it's going to twist and turn every which way possible. You're Harvard, you feel good about tying the game, and then after one batter defensively, you're now thinking, okay, well, what do we do now?
I was going to say, but we know we need to see we're going to see more scoring because we need to for the game to end. But I won't be surprised to see more pitching changes. Princeton starts off though exactly the way they would hope to. Get a runner in scoring position, flip it. We're at the top of the order now after falling behind. The question is, can the Tigers answer here?
And what has been just a roller coaster ride throughout today at Cynthia Paul Field. Bunt attempt, and it's a good one. Sonia Jong will be thrown out at first by about a half step. Jong can't believe it.
I'm not
Princeton
sure.
wanted it safe. From the naked eye, I thought that throw was in time.
Okay, it's funny. It doesn't matter. We're going to get to see a replay. I thought she was safe, but there is no replay except for an Ivy League. Coach is going to ask for a little help, but the call is going to probably stand.
We are on the far out
Oh, I think
part.
she was safe. I'm not sure. It was close, and
Yeah,
so you can
I
understand.
was hoping for a tighter look. We're going to get one here and see if we can slow it up right when that ball is grabbed. And that is safe.
Yep, she was safe. So,
Well, I was wrong. And unfortunately, Michael Binder was wrong as well. And he's not had the best of weekends because he missed a call at home in game one yesterday. But we are human. We make errors.
and
And I would have been in the same spot. So
no,
there you go.
listen, it. Look, we had to look at it 3 times to the naked eye, and I know I can be critical of umpires, but we had to look at it 3 times on replay. It was a close play. It just looks like he missed it.
So it is a sacrifice 5-4 for Sonia Jong. Still, the most important thing is there is a runner one bag away, and there are fewer than 2 outs. Then you have Julia DeMay due up. So if you're Princeton, again, the breaks haven't gone your way. The tiny little breaks today that went your way yesterday haven't gone today. But can you atone for that with your own doing? You still have control a lot of the game, and we'll see if they can do that.
And you know Dumais is going to be well, it's 2-0. It's a hitter's pitch, but she's going to be looking for hers, knowing that Riley Flynn has had some trouble throwing strikes this year the way she has in the past.
And that hits Dumais. It's the third free pass she's earned, second by hit by pitch. She's also walked. So Dumais now has earned 17 free passes this season, and she's been primarily hitting number 2 in the lineup. And oh, by the way, coach, this weekend, Carice Ford and on deck Allison Ha has a combined 16 RBIs.
Well, I mean, Princeton is where they want to be in the order, but I can assure you Harvard doesn't care. Right now, they're just looking for an out at this moment. And so Riley Flynn wants to start by throwing a strike right here.
Ford last time up had, I believe, runners at the corners as well, walked, and then that set up bases loaded for a 2-run Allison Haas single. Same type of situation. If there's hard contact up the middle and the infield can make a play, there's a chance to end the inning with 2. And Carice Ford takes strike 1. Of course, Ford, if she can get this past the infield, the outfield continues to be deep. Selassie in left near the track, and then shaded a bit to the left is Fitzpatrick deep in center. 1-1, and this is high in the air, has some carry.
Not
A
deep
charge
enough.
in right. The grab will be made. Here comes
Oh,
the
wow.
throw. It's going to go wide, and coming home to score is Braden Hale on the sacrifice fly. Now advancing the second on the throw is Julia DeMay. Heads up play by DeMay as the Tigers grab a 9-8 lead as the throw from right by Weinsheimer just didn't quite line up.
And I didn't think it was going to be deep enough to score, but coach was sending her on the way, all the way. You see, runner goes back to tag right away. Weintheimer does everything right. Little maybe an extra step or two, but doesn't quite square up, brings the throw off. But more importantly, the rookie catcher forgets about it, goes back to make the tag, and now that allows the runner at first to also advance.
And so now with Allison Hadju up for Carice Ford, RBI number 17 of the season, 8 of the weekend, only trailing Allison Haas 9.
And right now, you know that Ha wants to put the ball in play and try to get some, I don't even know if it's enough security, but at least one more run right now as this continues to be a hitting day for both teams.
Well, the one thing you do know, if it's going to stay that way, every run's going to count because nothing is safe. 2-0 the count for Ha, who has another multi-hit game today. Gets underneath this one, though. Douglas underneath almost ran into Ha. Ha gets out of the way. Douglas makes the catch, and the inning comes to an end, but the sacrifice fly by Carice Ford has given Princeton the lead once again, 9-8 to score through 5 innings.
Again, that's for sure. And another person who's had a weekend is this rookie catcher, Quinn Salazar Stewart. Been on base every time this game today and has done a really good job.
One of two Crimson batters to start, 3 of 3 at the plate now. In the last inning, Maya Douglas, her third hit was a 2-run shot to cut the deficit to 1, which is where it currently stands right now, -1 on the scoreboard for the Crimson. 3 singles, though, 3 RBIs for Salazar Stewart, who, after taking a strike, takes ball 1 from Kayala Hollenkamp.
Yep, Hollenkamp getting her first meaningful Ivy League activity. Obviously, it's the first weekend, but it's going to be a good test for this rookie this day today in this shootout at the OK Corral.
5 total scoreless outings of the 15. Misses that one. Didn't quite have the rotation she wanted. Hiccup here, a hiccup or two here or there by Hollenkamp, but all said, outing to outing's been solid against a very tough slate of competition. This included as Salazar Stewart sends it towards foul territory, but Dominguez takes charge and makes the grab. P4 in your scorecards as the freshman Quinn Salazar Stewart retired for the first time at the plate today.
And it's always good to get the first out when you're on defense. It just takes a little pressure off, although in this game, it ain't over till it's over, that's for sure.
Not with the local product Priyanka Call due up, 2 of 3 at the plate. RBI single in the first as the pitch had too much rise, and the count is 1-0.
Call has been on base all the time this weekend, and she is looking for her pitch against facing this rookie pitcher for the first time.
Takes ball 2, and so a favorable count for the senior, who last year was an all-region third-teamer. All-Ivy second-teamer in a breakout campaign after only 14 at-bats over her first 2 years. Talk about Douglas and Call particularly had breakout junior campaigns. They've continued it into their senior year, providing it for a mostly young team. You mentioned it, 14 underclassmen between the freshmen and sophomores.
But Coach Roan has said she really likes this team. She's gotten really good leadership.
Hollenkamp, good job to adjust. Didn't initially have it cleanly, but still the overhand throw in time. 1-3, 2 up, 2 down in the 6th.
What you'll see, the one thing she did is once she bobbled it and dropped it, she didn't panic. She just stuck with it, pushed the ball down the ground, picked it up, came up throwing, nice and balanced, just the way you teach it.
Got the throwing motion right, and that's the one thing when you're pitching underhand and then you start to panic. Does the overhand become more of a hassle? As we have due up the designated player role in the 6th spot. It looks like Alexa Muller is going to re-enter after Alexa War had pinch hit earlier.
And follow the bouncing ball today.
That is a taken ball 1.
Muller looked at it, took a good hard look, and held back for that first ball.
Grounded into a double play when she didn't run out a play to first and then struck out looking. So a bit of a rough day for Muller, who's starting to find her own in her first year. Swings and misses against the fellow freshman Hollenkamp. Yet another arm for Princeton that provides a ton of talent, as this is going to go opposite field and left for Allison Ha. The grab is made, and Kayala Hollenkamp induces a 1-2-3 inning. And believe it or not, on this Sunday, we actually get straight up, straight down. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, Princeton will try to extend its 1-run lead. Lauren Sabloni, Graciela Dominguez, Ali Goodwin due up in a one-run game in the bottom of the sixth where, at the rate we've been going, Princeton having 9 might not be enough. So they'll try to keep things going with a 2 RBI day for Lauren Sabloni, now up to 89 in her career, and swings that one foul.
Riley Flynn still on the mound for Crimson.
Getting feedback from Bruce Kilmore. I think from that swing, she didn't quite like what she saw, but just kind of instinctually protected, albeit a first pitch. So she gets the feedback she needs. Back in the box, awaits the 0-1. And that is not going to need a swing, a one hopper.
Just trying to mix it up a little, throw something off speed, just a little short.
Looks no different than a ball that barely misses. And so Riley Flynn will go right back at it. 1-1 the count. And that is taken for strike 2.
Flynn ahead in the count, exactly where she wants to live. Has put some runners on base, although not today. Although she hit a batter, but no walks. She wants to work ahead with strikes.
1-2 doesn't hit the mark this time. And so back and forth we go as the first full weekend, we'll say, of Ivy League softball play concluding today. There was the Penn-Yale series last weekend. Sabloni gets underneath it, pops it up. Flynn calling for it. Will make the grab, and there's one away.
Yep, Flynn does her job, gets the first out, back to that rise ball up.
Columbia has completed a sweep of Penn. They are 3-0 to start out Ivy League play, while Dartmouth completes a sweep of Brown, and doing so in Providence. They're 3-0. Where would these two teams stand at the end of today as Graciela Dominguez takes strike 1, walked her last time up?
And Riley Flynn looks totally in control, working ahead of the hitters, just what she wants to do, especially late in the game, if not always.
A quick verbal look at the town scores has Columbia defeating Penn in 5 innings, 10-1. And then Dartmouth with a road shutout at Brown, 6-0. 1-1 the count, and Dominguez now ahead 2-1.
Every game feels so big. You want to win every game. But the truth of the matter is, 3-game series, it's a long year, and this is just the first weekend of it, except for 2 teams.
The line and the delivery for Flynn. And look, you take every game as important as it is, but with that, you cannot get too high or too low. You have to, after this game is over, prepare for practices or games in the midweek, depending on who you have on the schedule, and then get ready for next weekend. Check swing, appeal to third, and they confirm Dominguez held back. Full count coming up. Again, Princeton has Yale next weekend, and they will not have a midweek game before facing the Bulldogs.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Flynn throw it up again. She almost had her going for it that time. But what do I know?
Well,
Goes
tried to
down
go
in the
low.
zone.
Yeah, tried to go low, and back-to-back walks for Graciela Dominguez. So not her first Ivy League hit yet, but doing her job the last 2 times up. And Ali Goodwin due up with 1 on, 1 out. You still have Phelps due up on deck who homered, and then in the hole, Hale who doubled. Taking strike. We've seen, you mentioned all hands on deck. It's been close to that. By my count, the only 2 we have yet to see on the Princeton roster this weekend is Sophia Marsalo, who's had an excellent career, multi-time All-Ivy, dealing with an injury. So her availability's here or there. And then Megan Harrington, who last year really strong showing as a starter, as a junior, including maybe her best late in the year. So those are the other possibilities for the Tigers today, but Goodwin down on 3 pitches with the swing and miss.
And Flynn looks great, moving it in and out, really doing her job, coming in, and at this moment is baffling the Tigers, which is what she wants to do.
2 outs in a 1-run game as Jessica Phelps due up. Phelps had the pinch hit home run in the 4th when the Tigers were trailing 5-3, and that what flipped the tide for Princeton, a 5-run 4th. Well, after yesterday, Princeton, they were great in terms of the batting. 14 runs scored. Harvard struggled. They could not get a single run. This has been an offensive affair. 9-8 to score. Will it be enough, though? Bottom 3 of the lineup due. And a first pitch taken strike by Elena Weinsheimer.
Weinsheimer hit a double last time to lead off the inning and start the hullabaloo going last inning that, put Harvard right back in this.
They tied it up momentarily with a 3-run 5th. That got almost at the face of Weinsheimer, who was trying to put down a bunt.
It's so hard when you're moving on the slap or bunting. It's so hard to get out of the way on that inside pitch, but she did.
Again, it's Kayala Hollenkamp in the circle for the 7th. Got a 1-2-3 6th. In fact, retired all 4 batters she's faced so far. First time Harvard is seeing her after Brielle Wright and Cassidy Shaw combined for 13 shutout innings yesterday. Harvard chased Wright early. 5 runs allowed, all earned on 6 hits in an inning plus. Cassidy Shaw, 3 2/3 innings, 3 runs allowed, all earned. 1-2, Hollenkamp to Weinsheimer, and fouled away.
Runners on base all day. Last inning, it was the first 1-2-3 inning for either team today. And there weren't a whole lot of them yesterday either.
And look, if Harvard gets anybody on,
the
lineup flips over.
Yep. And listen, the bottom of the order, Maya Douglas has had a day, and Weinsheimer has had a double, so I'm not looking past any of these hitters.
Check swing, appeal to third. I don't even think there needed to be a check swing, if I'm to be honest, but that's ball 2.
I thought it might be out, but I will say I thought she went. But it doesn't matter what we think.
That just adds to the drama today.
Of course it does.
2-2 the count. Of course, you got to capitalize on the opportunity, and Weinsheimer doesn't. Hollenkamp gets the swing and miss, and there's one away.
And you got to give a rookie pitcher all the credit in the world. Thought she had the strikeout the first time, comes back with that beautiful pitch down and out, doesn't let it fluster her, does what she needs to do.
A little bit of a follow-through on the pitch there, the strikeout. And so Maya Douglas, who has been the big bopper for Harvard on this Sunday afternoon, the 2-run homer, the double, the single. This is sent to right on the first pitch, but Carice Ford makes the grab. The Tigers 1 out away from a series sweep, and Savannah Fitzpatrick will try for the 2-out rally.
1 pitch, 1 out. That's the way you would draw it up, but it's not over till it's over, and Fitzpatrick is a dangerous hitter. I know she doesn't have the numbers she probably hopes for. It's early in the season, and she's had some great games against the Tigers.
Again, all Ivy League first team last year, 8 doubles during the non-league portion this year, and she does have the capability of tying things up right away.
Has a strikeout looking today, reached base on a walk and grounded out to Zhang.
Wano will take a strike.
Again, if Fitzpatrick gets on, we flip the order, go to Salazi, who's had a good day, has the speed, puts all kinds of pressure on the defense.
Corners are in for Princeton as Kayala Hollenkamp winds and delivers the 1-1 pitch. It's swung on and sent to right field. Ford's going to look back. He hits the top of the wall and stays in. That was a foot away from being tied. Instead, 9th double of the year for Savannah Fitzpatrick, and Princeton still barely has the lead. Look at this.
You can't get any closer. It looks like she has all of it. Ford does everything literally like 2 feet off the top of the fence.
That hit maybe the bottom of the railing that makes the top of that wall. Maybe. Like you said, 1 foot or 2 foot. It's gone.
It's a game of inches, but now here it comes back to Salazi. He's got the wheels, can put the ball in play all kinds of ways.
Slaps and fouls it back. 2 bunt singles, but again, can certainly put the ball in play into the outfield. And you got to imagine if that happens, the Tigers are going to be ready for it. The outfield shading more in than back.
Yep, and you need to. You have to cut the runoff at home. I'm actually surprised they're not even in a little bit more, because this Salazi's not gonna. She's not gonna hit with power, but you do have to give yourself the angle. So it's, I wouldn't be disappointed if they were in a little bit more, but I understand why they're in more than usual and not as much as sometimes.
The Princeton faithful gets loud as Harvard down to its last strike. Kayala Hollenkamp trying to get the win and give Princeton the sweep. Here comes the 0-2. It swung on, sent to left. Tracking back is Allison Ha, and the Tigers get the win, complete the sweep as the Tigers roar in a 9-8 thriller over Harvard.
Let me tell you, for a rookie pitcher, Kayla Hollenkamp came in and more than did her job. You knew that Harvard, I said coming into this inning, I'm just not sure 9 runs are enough. Whoever says something like that. And yet, runner in scoring position to end the game.